So now, under the new
ownership,
should we expect more novel content?
make sure that Wicked is on people's lips,
Okay.
whether that be streamers, players, operators.
Do you gamble yourself? Good morning and welcome to another edition of the SiGMA podcast with myself, Trevor the Giorgio, and today with James Davies, the Chief Commercial Officer of Wicked Games. James Davies, who I'm pleased to say is not just someone I know from the industry, but is now also a colleague. James, good morning. Thank you for flying in from Cyprus and joining us today for this podcast.
Thank you for having me, Trevor. Yeah, it's been an eventful trip.
It's been an eventful trip. I think you came here also for your mother's birthday, right?
Indeed, it was at the weekend, and
I almost screwed up the surprise, but it was. You've been here now for, I think you told me 24 years, right? You were here.
Yes, April 1st, 1999.
April 1st? That was no April Fools. Now that you've moved to Cyprus.
Yep.
So first off, what brought about the move to Cyprus?
I mean, yeah, as you mentioned there, 24 years in Malta, you've seen it all. And yeah, it was just it was time for a professional and personal change. And luckily, my last position had kind of come to its natural ending, and a new opportunity had come along in Cyprus.
Okay, and you joined the team of Wicked Games, right?
Indeed, yeah.
This is one of the new acquisitions by
Ikigai.
Yep. You've been here 24 years. You've seen the gaming industry being given birth to, go through puberty, teenage years, and now I would say we're in an adulthood.
Very much matured, that's for sure, yeah.
How have you seen the changes from your perspective?
Wow. I mean, yeah, right from the very beginning. I mean, I was here at least 10, 12, if not 15 years before any whisper of any kind of online gambling was here. I mean, myself personally, I think it was 2005. I went for an interview with Party Poker.
Okay.
And unfortunately didn't get that position, but I didn't know enough about poker or online gambling at the time.
Who did?
Who did, exactly. But it certainly, it kind of planted that seed. But yeah, I mean, in those days, nobody knew about online gambling. It was tiny little sites here and there.
Mm-hmm. And they were using Malta as their base. Well, Malta was one of the hubs which was developing at the time.
I mean, back then, that was probably like one of the first companies that was in Malta. So then it must have just grown and grown from there.
It grew exponentially. There was also Jib at the time, which I believe had started, and the Indian reservation in Canada, Kanawaki. Yeah, so you've seen the industry grow, develop, change, mature.
Yeah.
Same as at Malta in 24 years. You've seen a lot of changes.
Indeed. I remember those pleasurable days back in the days where you go out with your gisleri and have your pastixi.
So you remember still the lira?
Yes, of course.
You still remember the lira.
You get your direct bus up to Maliha Bay for the afternoon.
From where I used to live, it was the 45.
Yeah.
But times changed. Things change.
For the better, hopefully.
The industry's still here.
Yes.
The industry's still here. But your journey in the gaming sector, how did it begin?
Probably a bit of chance luck, really. I mean, I was working in a finance sector.
Okay. And what were you doing in the finance sector?
It was a loan company offering short-term loans.
Okay.
Based out of the Plaza.
Okay.
And I was always kind of still had that seed planted that gaming, there was more to it. And myself having an interest in gaming from my youth. It was a case of like, how do I get in? Mm-hmm. How's it going to happen? But it was hard knocking the doors those days, especially being a one language speaker.
Because you could only speak English at the time. Yeah. Have you developed any languages since then?
Only bad languages.
Okay. So you started off, you were working with a loan company, and then what was your break? What led to your lucky break, as you said before?
I kind of found a back door. I went into recruitment.
Okay.
So I had a kind of sales background already. Mm-hmm. So recruitment was kind of my back door into gaming.
Okay.
I was working for a recruitment company who were basically finding technical teams for gaming companies, developers and QA people and this.
So you started building from there, your knowledge on the gaming sector?
More of a network of people.
Okay.
Of people in the industry.
And then your first gaming company?
First gaming company, yeah. I was lucky that one of the guys my managers from the loan company had moved into gaming, and he was running a customer support team.
Okay.
And yeah, he kind of like gave me the nod, like, yes, I want you to come and join us.
Okay. And from there, from customer support agent to chief commercial officer
I
nowadays.
know. Yeah, it's crazy to think the journey's only been just short of 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. But I've definitely started at ground zero.
Yeah.
Cut my teeth face to face with players in live chats, telephone calls, from nice chats to not so nice chats.
But how important is it? Let's go into the specifics now. How important is it for people to actually have that background? By that background, I mean they have knowledge of players, they have knowledge of what players like and don't like. Yeah. And one of the most important aspects, I believe, is they have knowledge of the product. How important is that?
I mean, I can't say it's fundamental for everybody, because everybody goes in different paths, but I can definitely speak for myself in that, yes, it was fundamental for me to understand the psychology of a player.
Okay.
And the games and the type of, what attracted a player, what kept them coming back to make their second, third, fourth deposits, what kind of promotions worked, things like that. Those were like really, really fundamental to getting to the point now where, as a game producer ourselves, now I can kind of give constructive feedback to our creative and our design team. Go, guys, that's not going to work, or guys, that's going to be key for slipping into a casino's welcome bonus.
Okay. And with all this background, all this knowledge, customer support agent to chief commercial officer, how many stops were there on the way for you?
I mean, after CS, I went on to work for a platform. So I kind of became the middleman. Okay. So I was then selling other providers' games to operators. So I kind of moved into the B2B side. Yeah. So then I got an understanding, then a bit more of a deep rooted of how many providers, how their back offices worked, how their games were released, what the different mechanics were, what worked, what didn't work. So again, very blessed to get that kind of little nugget of information for a couple of years.
And then you carried on developing.
Then carried on, yeah.
Do you gamble yourself? Okay.
Plead the fifth, because the wife might watch this.
Okay. So you're married?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Mentally, yes, but on paper, no.
On paper, no. Any kids? No, not yet. Because today we're not just going into gaming, we're finding out who James really is. I've met you so many times online to discuss so many different things in the run-up to establishing Wicked. That even though today's our first face-to-face meeting, it's like I've known you for years. But there are certain things which, hence the curiosity. So, you have clearly a commercial background. You have a clear knowledge of the games themselves, the mechanics, how it works. You have a knowledge of how the industry works. So why did you choose Wicked Games as your next project?
And again, we're missing out another key step that I was very fortunate to be welcomed into a new game studio that started a few years back. Well, it started in 2015. When I joined them, it was 2020. Okay. Just as they started to boom. And this was a fantastic opportunity for me because it was that small studio who had their little nuggets of information, some great people, great designers, some great minds, some great commercial guys. And then putting all that together, they just went boom and became the monster that is No Limit City. And I'm forever.
So you worked for No Limit City.
Forever proud to have been part of that team.
Okay, so why Wicked? But
Wicked, I mean, like I say, I just felt it would. With moving away from No Limit, it left a hole in my heart. Let's say that, and I was just ready for a personal and professional change. Cyprus has always been in my heart because I'd been there many, many times. And I was looking for that one opportunity in Cyprus. And then, fortunately, Ikigai, Wicked, was just... Iman. Thank you, Iman. Planted that seed with me that there was a potential opportunity. Went there for holidays, spoke to Iman, spoke to the team there, got to meet the family as we're now over there. And I was like, yeah, this is for me.
So you're based in Limassol then, right?
Yes. We're kind of the whole family, the SiGMA family, the Ikigai family is all based in Limassol.
Okay. And how are you finding it till now?
I love Cyprus. As a on the personal side, absolutely love it. It's a fantastic way of life. On the professional side, I love being in that close-knit kind of family where...
Because you have, over there, you have almost all the facets now being developed on the gaming sector. You don't just have the SiGMA, the show element, but there is a heavy B2B platform game development element as well, right?
We're very, very close to really capturing the whole entire ecosystem, really.
Yes.
I mean, you've got SiGMA, obviously, with the networking and the events, and then you've got SiGMA Play with all the affiliation stuff. Pardon me. And yeah, now we're coming into the actual game creation side with the sister Wicked Games.
Okay. So how important is the sharing of all that knowledge within that one building?
Massive.
How have you found it? Because I believe that's one of the biggest differences you are experiencing right now.
Oh, very much so. I mean, I've seen over the years so many small studios, I say small studios, but new studios start up, and they have great mathematicians, great designers, great minds. They try and try, but they just don't quite get there, and they end up folding. I think what's going to be key with Wicked is the fact that we do have this massive wealth of experience, knowledge, and network and financial backing that we can just tap into to make sure that when a hurdle comes along, we can learn and grow from it.
Okay. So right now you're at Wicked Games. You're developing the new content, right?
Yeah.
I know that there are many things in the pipeline. Because this is, how old is this company now? It's not even years, it's a few months, right?
Well, that's the misconception, because Wicked Games has actually been around for a very long time.
Okay.
All right? It was basically in its old format with the still the same design team.
Okay.
It was basically creating games for other people. So it would create games off spec for others and then just sell them off. Okay. That's it, hand it over.
Time out. For the benefit of our viewers, you just said games are created off spec. What does that mean exactly?
Basically, somebody would come to us and go like, listen, we don't have an Egyptian themed game, or we don't have this type of math model in our portfolio. Can you build us a game that does this, that, and the other? Then it gets handed over. Our team, obviously, do their own brainstorming and whatnot, and they come up with their various iterations. Any of these? Yeah, build me that one.
Okay.
Go away, build it, and then the third party would take it on.
So now, under the new
ownership,
should we expect more novel content?
Novel as in, I mean, innovation. I say this all the time. Innovation has been a buzzword for many, many years.
Yes.
There's only so much innovation you
can do with the slot.
Yeah. But there's still unique things you can do. You can do unique branding, which, it's something that we're going to possibly tap into as well with regards to using celebrities or current world events and things like that. Math models and mathematics. I mean, we saw 10 years ago when the guys came up with, when BTG came up with the mega clusters and all this kind of
mega ways,
exactly like that. So there are still things out there. I mean, again, the guys at No Limit, they hit big because they came up with their own innovative mechanics as well. So I personally believe that there is still room for doing a little bit of innovation, but it's still hard.
Do you think that slot players, who are I would say your diehard casino players, do slot players actually want that innovation?
Again, it comes down to the demographic. You've got certain players who just want a simple 3x3 slot game which they can just play and play and play. They can just click and just happy with a small €5, €10, €15 win. Or you've got those, like you say, the diehards.
Those are your time on device players.
Yeah. Okay. Then you've got your diehards, which you're seeing more and more of them because of the this new wave of influencers with the streamers coming along. So people are actually watching streams and they're watching these massive wins.
And has been an evolution in the gaming sector. Do these streamers actually really have that much of an impact?
Oh, very much so.
So people enjoy watching other people play.
It's a generational thing. I mean, you've got children, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you caught them on the iPad watching this person playing Fortnite or this person playing this game or this person playing that game?
In the case of my daughter, no.
Okay.
Because she's not into that. She's not into that. She really isn't into that. But yes, I've actually seen people doing FIFA live streams, baseball live streams. There are some, baseball is one of my favorite sports to follow, and there are some very good baseball streamers. MLB, there's a EA Sports MLB game, which is very, very popular. But, so we can say that streamers have led to a certain development within, or let's say introducing a new wave, a new demographic to sport, to slots?
Yes and no. I mean, yes, they've definitely opened up the exposure because those, again, a generational thing, those players who weren't really old enough to play, but they were still following these streamers on certain platforms. They know how these platforms work. You know, now they have become of age and they are following these influencers, I call them now. I mean, you can't go on Facebook nowadays without some millionaire influencer who's just, putting rubbish content up, just doing whatever it is that he's doing, driving a Lamborghini or something like that. It's crazy, but that's the far side of what I'm talking about. These influencers in the gaming industry are key. Because not only are they driving the next generation of players, but they're also, for me, driving the next level of, innovation.
Within the sector. Because we're starting to see, these guys love bonus hunts. So you've got to have bonus buy in your games, They like to chase, X kind of hit rate games, or they're looking for, the bigger volatile games to get these big max 30, 40, 50,000 euro wins, because that is instant content for them on their own channel.
Platforms.
On their own channel. James, let's look at goals, the short-term, medium-term, long-term goals. What should we expect next from Wicked on this front?
Good question. I mean, short-term obviously is the actual launch. There's a lot of people who have been working very, very hard for the last year.
Okay.
We've just invested heavily in our tech teams as well to make sure that not just the launch is hit, but everything is stable and solid for when we're ready to go. Midterm, I want to at least make sure that by the end of the year, if not next year, make sure that Wicked is on people's lips, whether that be streamers, players, operators. Try and get us on some key distribution channels, whether that be aggregating platforms or whether that be direct deals as well, just to make sure that the brand is actually rooted.
Okay.
And then when we come to, obviously, the end goal, I would love to eventually be up there with some of the best of them, actually a household name, and how we get there is going to be a long, tough road.
It's going to take time. Right. But I think you have time. Time is actually in your favor over here because of all the experience you have right now, right?
Yeah, very fortunate. We've not got people who are learning on the job. We've got people who are actually coming from other companies who are bringing their experience and their knowledge with them. Like I said, we've got our core team who actually have been at Wicked for nearly 10 years already. Okay. So it's just those little small elements now that we just need to piece together. Okay. And then we're ready to just go bang.
All right. Okay. Do you have a launch date?
June.
No,
I mean our
June's 30 days, right? June's 30 days.
Yes.
Any day in particular in June?
We again with thanks to our partners at SiGMA. Okay, we will be having quite a strong presence at SiGMA Manila.
Okay.
So
and when is that taking place?
Early June, I believe.
Early June. Okay.
So yeah, we're hoping to take our first batch of 5, 10, 8, I think we're aiming for 12 to 15 games for Manila anyway. So
you'll be officially launching the new content in Manila.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that I'll have a couple of commercial partners ready for then as well.
Okay.
So there'll be some solid backing.
So we should expect in SiGMA Manila some huge news from Wicked then, right?
It's light the torch paper, as they say, and watch the rocket fly.
Okay. But there are many studios, many platforms. What makes Wicked different?
Good question. It's one that everybody keeps asking, because everybody's, especially when you're doing, your sales pitch. Yeah. It's like, what is your USP? What's your unique selling point? I say, well, unfortunately, I don't have games right now that I can give you to show you what we build, what we do, what we know. I think our USP, there's two factors. One is like I allude to all the time, is just our sheer knowledge and experience.
Okay.
All right. We're not a baby studio who's just coming through. We're fortunate that we have that. And the second point is, the exposure and the marketing and the channels that we have been given or blessed to have access to are going to make sure that the brand and the games are, they're exposed. They're put in front of the right people in the right markets.
Okay.
So that they're not just going to dwindle down. They're going to have some investment, whether it be marketing investment, influencer investment, to make sure that this brand sticks.
And grows. And stays. And hopefully becomes a household name as well.
Indeed, sir.
James, I hope your name becomes a household name as well.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure getting to know you a bit better. It's been a pleasure also to host this podcast. I'd like to thank the entire team at SiGMA, the crew over here. I'd like to thank the team in coordinating it, especially Alenka, who was very patient with our changes in dates. And finally, I'd like to thank also Eman and the rest of his team for showing faith in this podcast. James, I wish you the best of luck.
Trevor, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, and we will be with you in the coming future with more episodes of the SiGMA podcast. Thank you so much.